Hello people, this is a video to talk about can people make money off of slots. The principle of gambling, from my point of view, I've been gambling now for the past part of 15 years now, and I've had a few people say, oh, you're addicted, you shouldn't do it, and all the normal stuff. I don't need them to have a go at me because I know when I'm an idiot and I spent what I've won. I shouldn't do it. I go by the principle of always take. If I've won a lot, I always take money out. What playing on the screen at the moment is just my playlist of my slot investments. So you know. But can you make money off of playing slots? In the sense of the gambling, like us, the player, versus them, the company, I don't think it is possible to make money off slots. Not because they don't pay out, but because of the way that the slots are made. You know, because throughout the year, most of the time, the actual systems behind the slot are designed to take money. That's their principle. Now, as a player, from a player's point of view, the only thing that really matters is timing. It doesn't matter how you could put you can put £1,000 in a machine, but if that machine with its times are set to take, it will take that £1,000. It will pay you back a percentage, which can range from anything from 10% to all the way up to the maximum, because that's the other thing I go by as a player. But that aspect of the return to player percentage only works if a lot of people's playing the high percentage slots. So like there are some really high slots to play with 98%. I can't remember his name now, but it's on William Hill. You know, ultimately, you know, let me just bang up William Hill a sec, and I'll show you the slots that I mean. If I just bang up William Hill, I've got them in my favourites, so you know, ultimately, here's my favourites. So all these slots you see here, they've all got 97% win, 97% return to player. Apart from Bloodsucker. Bloodsucker is the only one on many sites that I've seen got a full 98% return to player. Now people's like, well yeah, but why do you worry about that? I like just playing the slots. There's a lot of people out there who only play slots because they like playing them. They're not really worried about winning money, which I find very strange. But then there's another group of us who plays them to win money. This group should really be looking at the return to player slots. Every game got them, no matter what website you go on, William Hill, whoever it is. They've all got the basics, which is the return to player percentage. That's worked out over the 12 months. So some slots could take for 8 months, then the last few months it could start paying out at random times throughout each day. You know, back when I started playing them, I got to know the workers quite well in the arcade that I went to. And one of the things they told me was, on average, the machines works in a basic simple principle. Whatever it pays out is took again. So say it's paid out £100, that means that the machine is took £150 on top of that £100. So is took £250 in order to pay out £100, because it takes double plus half that again. So you know, they makes a lot of money. There's no question about that. And I don't believe people say they makes money. And I don't think so. I find it very hard to believe, because the only way you'd make money is if you're lucky enough every time to turn up on a slot machine at exactly the right time for that slot machine to be paying out. And that has to be some luck. You know, they can take most of the time. You know, at that place I just mentioned about, a friend, like, he said that in one day they've had a slot machine pay out over £500 jackpots. Luckily, one person won. It was one person won 2 jackpots, and then the rest of them was throughout the day, different people. So you know, but the thing is, what those people didn't know is that machine didn't pay nothing decent out for the past 6 months. So that machine was on average, he said, paying out between 20 to 26% on average for the 6 months. So it was paying back, but it wasn't paying back the big money. It was just taking and taking. Then that day, it averaged itself out by paying out over two and a half grand. You know, so if you're lucky enough to hit a machine like that, then yeah, of course you're gonna make money. But that's rare cases. You know, the machines don't normally cycle that long. You know, but the principle that they went by at the shop was quite simple. For every £1,500 each machine took, what they would do is they'd keep £500 on the premises, and they would bank the £1,000. That way, they always had the money in the shop to pay out if a machine suddenly chooses to start paying out big. Because not even the designers know, not even the manufacturers of each game knows when those slots are going to pay out. Because I've heard some people, oh yeah, this slot pays out really well. No, the only reason it pays out well is because people likes the features, they likes the bonuses, so a lot of people plays it, which means a lot of money is going into the system. And when that's happening, what happens then is the machine says, right, I've took X amount, I could pay out X amount. And that's where the return to percent the RTP comes in. You know, you have to be able, yeah, that's the key principle. Is for us players, if we were playing the higher percentage, so say everyone who watches videos just said, right, okay, I'm going to bite the bullet for the next 6 months, I'm only going to play slots as 97% or higher. Yeah, the same would happen. Some days you'd go on and you'll lose it all, because that's what all the slots do. But in the long term, because more money would be going into these higher percentage slots, you will eventually hit a good win, because they're higher percentage slots. So over the years, they've got to pay back. Well, they don't got to, but you know, there's the minimum of 74-75% by law. But obviously, people ain't gonna, you know, you can't run a big slot on that kind of odds, because people won't just keep chucking in money and not win nothing. You know, I'm used to I started playing the old ones called S16 slots. They were a £500 slot, and this is going back to 2003, 2004. And this is where I get a bit confused, because technically I was putting up £40, and when I first started playing it, I played on one called Mega Slot, and the feature was straightforward. It was a screen up in your top left corner. If people's played it, you know, check it out on YouTube. There's plenty of videos of it. and at random times you'd get it's your turn mega slot, and then you'll go up and it'd be like a noughts and crosses kind of design, and there'd be sevens, X's, and O's for no wins, like, you know. And like I said, I come away with about 3 or 4 jackpots off of that thing within a period of about 4 months, and I was only putting 40 quid in. So, but obviously when the rules changed and they clamped down on those types of slots in arcades, it changed the market. And the friend I did mention, but basically the owner just said enough's enough. He wasn't willing to keep chucking money to keep it open, because they lost a lot of money, yeah, and you know, so they were kind of gutted themselves, because the £2 S16 slots was very good, you know. 50p gave you about 90% return to player. A pound ago would give you around a 94-95% return, and £2 would give you a massive 98% return to player. So, you know, there was a very good. I did make money off them. Overall, I'm not saying I made loads, but I did make money, which kind of makes me criticise what I've just been saying. But you know, it's a different time now, isn't it? You know, they're no longer here. They were took over. What took over from them was the B3 category machines, and then a few years back when they changed it again, they allowed the £2 stake back, but that's not the same. I don't know why is not the same. I don't know, but what I do know is the S16 played out very well. You know, there was plenty of times on Elvis and the other Rainbow Riches that there's plenty of videos on my playlist. Obviously this is an online version, because that's where I've moved to, because I believe the shops and FO and the betting terminals, I wouldn't even touch them. I think the money is online, you know. If you want to get the best chance I believe is online, and always double check in to make sure that you know the return to player percentage. You know, like both these games you've just seen now, this Raging Rhino, and the only reason I'm playing them reluctantly. I don't like playing them, but I know that the slots that I showed you earlier on William Hill, they're not popular slots. They're not fun slots. They're the best odds on winning, but people don't take no notice of that. People likes to play slots that is fun. You know, this Raging Rhino is one of these slots that are generally pretty crap, but at a random time it could pay out a lot of money in a short amount of time, and that's why people play these ones, because they feel, oh well, I might be the lucky one. But the fundamentals behind the working of the slot is pretty much the same no matter what slot you're playing. Yeah, the random number generator, the way it's all designed, the only major difference is the return to player percentage. Because obviously the bigger companies that design these slots, they want to take a bigger slice of the pie. That's what it boils down to. You know, when you overall progressive slots are lower because of the nature of them, because they got massive jackpots. So you can't expect a progressive jackpot with say 100 grand or more to give that kind of percentage, because the way they work is they're a progressive slots has always got a lower return to player. I think the best I've seen is about 95%. But like I said, if you look on your, that's the key part, is people's got to play the higher percentage slots. If people don't, then obviously the slot hasn't got that money to pay out in the first place, so all the features are pretty crap. You know, that's the key part to it. You know, the only reason Raging Rhino now is paying out isn't because it's purely because it takes a lot more money than other slots because people likes playing it. That's what it boils down to. I reluctantly plays it because I think it only pays out 94-95%. The same with Monty, the game before. That was only paying out, between I think 94 and it's pretty much the same as this one. The only difference is the total bets are different. On Raging Rhinos, minimum is 40p. With Monty is 30p a spin. But that's the key thing I want people to understand is ultimately they're designed to take money most of the time. But it's all to do with the timing. And as a player, I think we've all had times when we've been playing and the slot we're playing on, it just keeps banging you up by £20 at a time. It does, and sometimes it does bring in a big win. The game after this, Terminator 2, that's an example of what I'm just saying. I went on it in the morning. My normal little bet, I didn't think nothing of it. I thought, I'll chuck £6 in, play it through, see what happens. And I was playing it through, and out of the blue, I got the red hot 3 spins, and it dropped £570 on me. That's a rare thing to happen, but when it does happen, it is nice to get that kind of money. But to try and get that money all the time. The weekend, that was a few weekends ago, the weekend just gone, I put up 60 and nothing. It's just, that's how mad the variables is on the slots, is online. I suppose if you keep to a £15, £20 limit and keep going on loads of different slots like that, you would think eventually you would hit a slot that's paying out. But ultimately, how many slots do you have to hit with £15 to find that slot paying out? Because that's the problem, and the principle I do is I go on the higher return to player slots and I put between £3 to £5, depending on how much I've uploaded. And out of all the ones I showed you on William Hill, generally I'm hitting one that does pay out. And then that once I've got a bit of money, then that's when I move over to reluctantly slots like this that I know that people play. But like I said, to make a living off slots, I find that very hard to believe. It's one of those things that is very difficult to do because you just don't know the timings. People say, "Oh well, somebody's put £500 in there. I'll go on that one in a minute." But ultimately, it isn't that particular time that matters. What really matters is the overall time period. Is what has it paid out in the last few months? That's the key part to it. If the machine's took for the last few months and somebody goes and puts £500 and it doesn't pay out, there's a high potential that machine is imminent to pay out at any time. But it is all dependent on how much is taken. That's how they're designed. That's why manufacturers can't really be 100% because they don't know themselves. The variable is how much is taken, and how it perceives the future. So say if there's a lot of people that's turning up on a regular day, every day, day in, day out, that machine would anticipate things. Well, it wouldn't anticipate, but it would recognise that every day is taking X amount of money. So what it would start doing is, as it's taking that money, it would be right, I can take the percentage can go up, but the percentage goes up and down every month on a slot machine. And that's why I keep saying to people all the time is if we all played the higher percentage slots, that would tell the industry straight. Look, give us a better odds, because it is wrong, especially online where they're only paying out 93, 94, 95. That is absolutely crap, and the amount of money these online slots are making. People only have to watch on YouTube. You would see yourself that some of the slots pays out thousands of pounds, and that means basically that it's took half that. It's took that again, so it's took another 1,000 plus another 500 to pay that out. So when they're only paying out like 94, 95%, that means out of all the money, out of the pot of money at the end of the year, they're taking a good 5%, 6% of that. Now, people could say, well, yeah, but when you're talking about percentage, let's say it's took hundreds of thousands of pounds. That's when things start, well, hold on a minute, they're taking like massive amounts. And all it is us players paying into that. I think a 2 to 3% cut of the year is more than enough. And people say, well, we won't be able to run the business like that. Well, yeah, you will, because it doesn't. I'm not saying that the machine should be set up to pay out 98% in a month. No, the machine can still vary its percentage throughout the year. So for 3 months, it could just take and only pay out between 10 to 25% of what it's taking. But then there would be that time period where it rebalances to match what is set to. So it rebalances itself by the end of the 12 months to pay back the 97 or 98%. That's the one thing. Just to touch on the other avenue that I looks to, is essentially the banking system is no different to what we're doing. The only difference is you've got 3 players doing it. You've got us, you've got the normal person that's working, then you've got the convincer, which I call the banker, then you've got the fund person that controls the fund. And basically the banker convinces people, yeah, this investment is worth doing, yeah, you get all this, la la la. So people signs up to this investment, then all that money that they're paying in, could be £50, could be £100, whatever, goes straight into this fund, goes straight into a fund. This fund could be universal to all banks. So whoever signs up, no matter what bank is from, could essentially be they could have thousands of pounds per month going into this fund. And what do they do with this fund? The people that's in charge of it goes off on the markets gambling that money. And what happened in 2008 is no different to what happened to us when we play slots. We keep playing, we get that, oh, the next spin's going to win. And that's exactly what happened in 2008 when everything went. The bankers got so greedy across the world, mainly in America, because that's where it all kicked off. They got so greedy that they just kept going and going, and because the money, the pots of money they were using was from investment funds, pension funds, it wasn't their money. So they didn't really give a damn. They knew at the end of the month they were going to get their pay. So from that avenue, the banking system do make money, but it's because they make it on a bigger scale. If say 20 of us players all joined together and said, right, we'll put £20 in the pot, then the person in control of that pot could quite easily make a living off it. If you manage to get 20 friends all paying in £25, £50 a month for the next 3-4 years, which is how investments work, then of course you can make a living off it. And it's providing you can keep that that gravy boat to getting more people hooked in, you get a massive fund to gamble with. You know, but for some reason in our consciousness as we're growing up, we're told that banking products are, you know, they're nothing to do with gambling. No, they're legitimate. They're not dirty gambling. But when you really look down at it, you will see that the fundamentals is banks and banking, as in products, pensions, investments, all those things only are able to make a return because they gamble on the big scale. So they gamble on markets. It is just this is gambling for the elites, wealthy, whereas like playing slots are seen as gambling for the poor people, and you shouldn't do it because you spend all your money. Well, that's what the banking system did. That's what individuals did in the banking system. And what happened to them? Governments bailed them out. You know, us players can't get that. If I blow all my money on this slot, I'm not going to get the bank coming forward saying, well, there's your money back. Yeah, that's what makes me so mad. I know that's slightly a different topic, but the principle of it, that's why I call my playlist slots investment payouts, because that's